Banky, don't worry. When I go for presidency.
But no, but you know, see, that's the real political response. How do you create legacy? How do you start to do something that has a deep impact on people going, and it's positive, and it's real, and it's lasting, and it's bigger than just, I did this?
When I think about legacy, as you were talking about, and bringing it all together to all these things, I grew up with a big legacy that was built over my head and footsteps that I needed to follow, but I decided to create my own path and not be governed by what my dad achieved with his career and his life. And then he made me understand the power of legacy. A lot of times growing up, I'd ask my dad for stuff and he'd tell me, I don't have. And I'm like, man, this guy now, I'm fine now. I'm the village headmaster now, what do you mean? You know? And then, you know, it was later that I understood that he was teaching me to understand the value of money. It's not about what you want, it's about understanding what it takes to get what you want. Now, my dad said something to me. He said, I may not have money now, but I have a name. He built his legacy on integrity. And when you look at his work ethic throughout his entire career, you see that he was a perfectionist. Anybody talking about Justice Sisiri in film and television in Nigeria will speak about his impeccable career. And that's his legacy. That's what he's left as he's gone now. So it was when he died that I don't woke up and said, yo, what are you doing? You are here, flashy songs, flashy videos. What are you leaving behind? And I like the fact that there's this medium because I'm not gonna come here and pretend like I figured it out. So I'm still thinking to myself, okay, I have 2 daughters. What am I leaving behind? When Dr. Sid stops music and goes into something else, what are people going to say about me? What did I impact into the Nigerian economy? Banky W went and started a movement to change Nigeria. He's a successful entrepreneur and businessman. You know, I'm pivoting into film and television, into gaming. So I want to be able to say that when I'm gone or when I'm no longer in this, my legacy is Dr. Sid made great music, he made great television, he changed the face of gaming in Africa and Nigeria, and he left a good reputation for his children. Do you know what I'm saying? So these are things, like he said, you have to think about. And we need to stop thinking about next paycheck. Because trust me, if you think if you have a 5-year plan, it's easy for you to know which chess piece to move first to get to the king on the other side.
Which brings back to your whole thing of people being so cultured in a place where we're reactive. And it feels like the areas in which, and these are things that are trying to be shifted and trying to be changed when you talk about this stuff, is understanding little things like having vision, having a long-term plan. A lot of people are in a position where we're stuck thinking about, oh, what am I going to eat tomorrow? And so because people are in that position, they're consistently acting and reacting based on today's need or the bread for today, and not thinking about how it's going to play out long term. And getting to that position, I remember, you know, talking about it, one of the things that gave me, I've mentioned this before, the things that gave me the vision to do this in the first place was that idea that for me, from a faith perspective, we talk about how men are meant to be leaders, guiding a relationship with God and all these kind of things. But when I went, we had a conference in our church and there were no men, no men. And so how are men meant to lead in something when men aren't even seeking it? And so it was this idea of let's have honest conversations. Because there are stereotypes that men don't want to talk, men don't want to be open, men don't want to be real. But I think that because of this stereotype, men then cave to the stereotype as opposed to men actually desire to be like that. And they haven't been given the opportunities to speak openly, speak honestly. How can we have impact on the next generation of men so they're not thinking the same way that stereotypes have created, you know, when it comes to relationships and all those kind of things. Let's imbibe something different. Let's have those real conversations.
Because like, I'm at a point in my life where, well, this is actually the first time I'll probably say this. I've had a period of real difficulty, real financial difficulty, career difficulty. I was making music. It wasn't, nothing was working. I wasn't getting booked at shows. And of my own doing, I didn't have passive income. So I didn't have anything outside of music. So once music wasn't popping, I was like, you know what, I'm struggling. I had health issues. I had high blood pressure. I had a mild stroke last year. Do you know what I'm saying? I almost died. And, you know, at that point in time, you think to yourself, what is going on? And I think I want to be honest and tell people, I've struggled.
Yeah.
But then in struggling, you understand that the only person responsible for change is you.
Yeah.
The same thing with Nigeria as a whole. The issue with this country starts from the individual.
Yeah.
If we can't fix ourselves, like Michael Jackson couldn't have said it better, the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
If you don't fix yourself as an individual, understand your flaws, own them, and be ready to try and fix them, because you might not be able to fix them all. That sets you on the right path to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, to create the legacy that you need.
Yeah, what he said now is actually a very important thing, which is, especially for people in the entertainment business, if you are in entertainment in Nigeria and you are not actively thinking of a source of income outside of your talent, your direct talent performance, then you are setting yourself up for trouble somewhere down the line. And I'm talking about everybody in entertainment, from the most successful to the upcoming. If you're not actively saying, okay, maybe you are popular, maybe you are getting booked every week, maybe you have all the endorsements in the world, but if you're not actively trying to put other things in place for the rainy day when that income maybe is not as frequent, you're setting yourself up for trouble. And that's, that's the thing. He mentioned that people in entertainment kind of have to give this packaging, this look, this show business pressure. You gotta be wearing a Rolex, or you have to be driving the nicest car, or in the latest designer outfits and all of that. And how painful would it be for someone who has reached the highest heights and ends up one day not even owning the house that they live in? And too many of our young people in entertainment, it's just about, I need enough to buy a car and to buy the nicest clothes, and for girls carrying a bag or this hair from wherever. And it's like, you gotta find other sources of income. You've gotta grow, you gotta use your popularity, use your fame to do something else. People see me, I'm selling suya now.
Suya.
I'm going, in Jesus' name, I will make $1 billion selling suya.
Correct suya.
Because that's what it's about. It's about finding other sources of income, diversifying, growing. The day that you stop growing is the day that you start dying in life. The day that you stop growing, that's the beginning of the end. And so even in your business life, in your career, I'm obsessed with growth. I'm obsessed with shifting my goalposts. I'm just, once I get somewhere and I'm getting close to that goal, I'm like, okay, well, what else should I be doing now? Because this is doing okay, but I should be trying to do other things. And so that's what I encourage people, young people all the time. You got to keep thinking big picture. You got to keep thinking down the line. You study athletes in, I'm sorry, I was talking in general.
Okay, fine.
But study athletes in America at the highest level of professional sports. Do you know that these guys that are getting paid millions of dollars a year, most of them, in the summertime, they're broke. Because they're not getting that in season. In the off season, they've spent so much during the season that they spend like they're going to make that money every week. So that even the few months a year that the sport is off, maybe you're not playing football or basketball or whatever, they're broke in those 3-4 months because they don't have that paycheck. Now, what about the day that your career is now over and you don't have it at all? So what are you going to do then? It's like the parable of the talents. There's some people, you give them their talent, they sing and they go home. And that's it. And there's some people, they use the singing or the rapping or the acting and they set up shop and they start to say, okay, what can I turn this into? Kylie Jenner turned social media stardom into $1 billion, selling makeup, lipstick or something.
Lipstick, not even makeup.
If Kylie Jenner is selling lipstick to reach 1 billion, I go sell suya, my brother. I go sell suya, I'll be in real estate, I'll be in the agency business, I'll be in movie making, music, I will do everything.
So legacy, therefore, we're talking about it as a mentality. And I always, this is the one thing that I think there's an area of struggling is there are things that you're passionate about and you see how those things can and can't work. Now, when you're trying to define something and think about something broader, do you always pivot based on the things you're passionate about, or can it be outside of I'm passionate about this thing, but this thing is I'm not passionate about it, but it's an opportunity?
So I think it works on both ways, but in different situations. Like for me, I'm into esports and gaming now, and gaming is something that I am passionate about. But I never really saw it as a viable business until about a year or 2 years ago. Now I see that there's a way that I can turn my passion into a viable business and create an ecosystem in Nigeria where other people can benefit from this potential source of income. Now, that would be easier for me because I'm passionate about it, and it's like I'm passionate about music. When I go into the studio to make music while I'm at the show, there's a different level of verb I have when I'm doing these things that I'm passionate about. But on the flip side, you might not be passionate about something, but you have the eye to see that this is viable. Yeah. This is something that, you know what, which is why I call it passive income. You might not have the ginger to be there every day, morning and night, but you have somebody that you can trust that you can say, look, oh, brotherly, I see this thing, I know it's going to work. Oh, here's my 10 cents. Let's get this popping. You know, so I think it's good to pivot or to branch out into things that you're passionate about, but it's also intelligent and smart to be able to see the opportunity where they exist.
Right. I think, should I? So there are two schools of thought. One, do something that you are passionate about, that you enjoy doing, make a business out of it so that you can make money doing what you love. Yeah. The other is you don't necessarily need to love it as long as you know that the business can work and that it's a viable opportunity. Invest in it and make your money as an investor. So my thought process is somewhere in between the two. And I say that because people that enter small businesses make the mistake of thinking that because I'm good at something, something that I like to do, then I should be able to make a business out of it. Yes, you can, but you have to be careful that you are creating a business, not a job. So most people, that's why most small businesses fail. Because people that run, I read a book about this, and people that enter small businesses, they say, oh, you know what, I'm really good at making cake. I'm going to make a business out of, for cake making. And what they've done is they've created a job, but now a job that you can't walk away from, a job that you can't, do you understand? You've become a slave. You've created a prison around yourself. The key with a small business is creating a system that produces results so that if you can replace yourself in the system, let the system continue to function and continue to generate the result that you desire and the product. So like, I love what he's saying about gaming, right? He's creating an ecosystem of gaming in Nigeria. I know there are pockets of gaming, but nobody has created a viable system around it. So that system should be able to function so that, because the goal, right, is for any business owner, the goal, your goal should be, let this thing get to the point where I can remove myself and go on vacation or look for other inspiration or whatever, but my business is not going to die. So you've got to create, so that's the thing. Yes, it can be something you love, or it can be something that you have never had any experience in before. You will need passion because you're going to need to put passion in, especially in the beginning, to get it off the ground. But your goal is to create a system around it. I'm into food, right? My Suya Bistro business, I'm not the person there. Imagine if Suya Bistro would not work unless Banky W was there doing his Chef W thing in the kitchen. Then that's not a business. I created a job that I must report to every day. But if I perfect the system that creates the food that people love, then I can have 100, 500 branches around Nigeria with different people making the suya and the bistro items and selling it. And I sit back, and now I'm free to sit down and think about the business and work on things to improve that business, as opposed to reporting to work every day, making suya myself.
To add to what he said, I went to a restaurant and a friend of mine was doing a tasting. So I was like, oh, do you have a new chef? He's like, no, I have no chef. So what do you mean? So So all this gummy food that we're seeing, he said, no, I have no chef. I have a set menu and a set process on how to make every single dish. So I have a system of what goes in where,
That's
at
the
what
key.
time. And
That's
so
the key.
Anybody, so there's no chef Sid that is in
That's
control.
the key.
And so if you come in, you put this at this time, put this at that, put it at this heat, at that, but the food will come out tasting exactly the
Follow the
same
instructions,
every single time.
The results will be the same. So now, for him, it doesn't matter who's in the kitchen.
Who's in the kitchen?
Now, imagine if everything was hinged on one chef that was awesome. The chef decides he's going. Business is crashed.
Finished. Then or you get a new chef and then your food changes.
It changes, and now
then
your customers are upset.
like, you know what's going on.
So for people that are getting into small businesses, you know, I had a friend once that talked to me, oh, you know, I love what you're doing. I make chin-chin. You know, I want to make a business selling chin-chin. I said, okay. She said, but nobody else can make it. Even my sister can come to the kitchen and try and do it. It's not the same. Only if I'm there. I said, my sister, that's not a business. That's a job.
It's funny
you must write your recipe down to the point where anybody can take a paper and say, okay, she said do this, and the chin-chin tastes excellent. Simple. If you can't do that, don't do it.
Because somebody's going to go and take a recipe and open their own chin.
But that's
You know what I mean?
The mentality has been that you need to be able to, because that's funny to me, because the mentality is you want to usually make it appear that you're the only one that can do it, so that they feel like, oh, this is unique to me, and therefore if they have you, they're good.
Yeah.
But the reality is that if you do that, then they're stuck with only you.
Yeah.
And
Now
everybody has
that's
an
not to say
expiration
that,
date.
for instance, an artist, right, is a business, right? So, you know, an artist's talent, you are the one that's going to sing the song at the end of the day. So there are some cases, but that's the thing is those artists now have to say, okay, what about the day that I'm no longer doing this? So they've got to find other things.
Because we look at that, like obviously with someone like, let's go, you can go abroad with Colonel Sanders, let's talk about KFC. KFC, obviously he knew how to make the chicken, he was great at it. But in order for expansion, he had to create a way that people will get to know.
Exactly.
Now, the selling point was he has branded himself and he becomes the branding for this thing. But we are marketed as if it's a huge secret, but meanwhile, I can go and get a job at KFC and they'll teach me how to do this.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So being able to be in a position where, yes, I understand the whole thing of a unique selling point, but I'm not selling myself out of a business by saying, if you don't have me, you have nothing. I can create a structure that means that I can create something with longevity.
I'll give you something that's weird, and I just told someone. So when you think of noodles in this country, only one name comes to mind. Indomie. But there are various brands. People will send someone to the market to go and buy another brand of Indomie, but just say go and buy Indomie. Like you don't think of go and buy me noodles. You say go and buy me Indomie. You know, that's how much of
they must have like an 80 90%
marketing in some people have been amazing.
So you see, and that's where you like, if you like, take our Indomie, change the wrapper, put your own on top. They will still refer to me when they want to buy your product.
And see, so this is an important point, right? What people need to realize that in every business, there's the commodity that your business creates. And then there's the product. And they're different. So what people don't understand is, your commodity is Indomie, it's the noodles. KFC is the chicken. That's the commodity. That's what people walk out of the door with. The founder, I think the founder of Revlon, very successful entrepreneur, said, my commodity in the factory, Revlon makes cosmetics. In the store, Revlon sells hope. That's his product. So that is why KFC can do what they're doing, because it's not just about the chicken. So every business owner must, your product is, how does the customer interact with my business? How do they feel? What are they thinking about when they come to buy from me?
I had the same thing you were saying, but a different way to look at it. I said, a lot of people, brands and things in this country, they sell products.
Commodities,
commodities,
yes.
Instead of selling brands. So I put it this way, if Coca-Cola makes Coca-Cola, vanilla, cherry, whatever, I really don't care. It's Coca-Cola, I'll buy it. So just that ad that goes, If you look at advertising,
No, they own it. Coca-Cola
advertising
owns it.
in Nigeria is very there's a lot of exposition. Buy this, it does that. But advertising internationally sells you a feeling. It sells you. They tap into your emotions, and that is what
those
sells.
are the businesses that stand the test of time. The business who understand that this is actually what I'm selling.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about the commodity, the physical thing. It's the emotion, the feeling, what it elicits in people. And that's why, we're in the agency space in EME now, and that's what we try to do with our clients, is to say
that ad, the king, no, that,
So that's where we're at as a business, is helping businesses understand that, you have a commodity. It's not just about that. It's about
we have to talk about that,
the emotion. No, let's not talk about
it.
Okay.
If you look at our leaders and the country as a whole, what legacy do they leave behind? What are we?
This is a whole other show.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
this is a whole other
I said
show.
something. I said something funny once. I said if Marwa comes and says he wants to run for Lagos State governor presidency, he might win. Because during his tenure in Lagos State, there was perceived to be good times, prosperity, and change. Things seemed to work. So the legacy in the eyes of the common man is that we get road, security was down, lights day, PCT. You understand?
Yeah.
It could have been different. I don't know the thing. But you see, there's a perception that came with it. Like, when you leave this office, it's not just about, I put road, I put toll gates, I put this camera. What am I going to say? That how did you affect the lives of the guy who's going to tell his mom and his grandkids that, look, in 19-something, when this guy was in power, it was so beautiful. Do you know, like that story, let your name be attached to an emotion that they will tell stories about you.
Yeah.
And that's what I pray that a lot of our leaders get to see. That it's not just about how much you can get in your pocket or how much your budget is. You can do little things to affect the average guy. And if that average guy's head is calm and he can eat and he can sleep, then his creativity. I saw a video about sleep, about how much, if you don't get enough sleep, how much damage it can do to you. It's ridiculous, from health to cognitive issues, memory, sleep, blood pressure. It's unbelievable what a good night's rest, lack of a good night's rest can do to your entire system and your longevity.
You're preaching to me right now.
You understand? Same. I don't joke with sleep anymore. 8 hours, I don't care. I shut down. Lights off, TV off, phone away. Because you have something to live for. So you have to understand that if you can just take care of that basic thing for that average guy, let me just sleep at night and wake up in the morning and say, thank you, Lord, I slept well. You'll be surprised how creative, how productive the average man is going to be. And once the average man is productive and creative, then it grows to the system and then the nation, and then it's a domino effect that leads to greatness. And those are the things that we also have to think our leaders. What legacy are you leaving behind for the people, your followers, the guys who put you in office, the people who are your constituents in your household, as a father, as a husband? What legacy are you leaving behind? As a mom, what legacy are you leaving behind to your children? To your neighbors, when they see you, like, we all have to be aware of it and not just what we're more. I did now, this shoe nice, this and that. No, it's more. There's more to it. And the more people that start thinking about their legacy in the future, I think the better the country and the world is going to be.
Yeah, it's so important. I think that's the heart of it when we talk about legacy, is what are you leaving of value that is not always tangible or physical. It's not your product. What is the emotion you're leaving, and where is the feeling that you're leaving in people? What motivation are you leaving in people in terms of values and the way that you treat people, the way that people's lives were affected by you on a deeper level than, oh, this guy had this thing, he achieved this thing, we saw the money that came out of it, that's cool, he achieved wealth. But what are you achieving that is leaving something in the generations to come? Because that's where we need to start thinking as Nigerians. Because that is what we have failed in so much. Our parents' generation will say they have failed us because where are we today as a nation? And we need to make sure that come the next generation, they're not saying the same thing that we're saying. It's the truth of it.
Banky W, they cannot say it.
Amen.